We good? All right, let's clap it up. All right, all right, all right. Well, just like we always do, tonight is history class. We're gonna learn a little bit of history today. Let me see here. Let's go back. Let's go back. Every Tuesday night we do history classes. The ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. You know, we got a lot of history with us. You know what I mean? We've been in America for almost 500 years, and we've been a destroyed people in America. You understand? The crazy thing is we are destroyed people because we don't even know the history, let alone we know that we don't know the history of ourselves, but we don't know the history of America and how we are intertwined with the history of America. You understand? I tried that, right? It blinks in and blinks out. I had it on and then it just blinked out. So it's going to keep coming in and coming out. You know what I mean? So I just had it on when you came up and it went right back out. But anyway, we really don't understand the history and how we're intertwined with America. You understand? And the reason why we're destroyed people in America is because we decided to live as Americans. You understand? A lot of us identify ourselves as America, but we are not America. You understand? We are Israel. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. We are the blessed people. We are the people that the Bible speaks about. And we're going to get into it today. The title of today's class is The Fall of Babylon, America's End. As we all know, if you don't know, now you're about to know. You understand? We have already entered into World War III. Listen to what I'm saying. We have already entered into World War III. A lot of people believe that you have to see bombs dropping, you have to see everything happening, you have to see destruction across the earth. You understand? That's not how wars start. You understand? All wars have a starting point. And think about that Ukrainian war, right? The day before that Ukrainian war started, or before that first bomb dropped, those people in Ukraine were out shopping, they were out having fun. They showed pictures of it because nobody believed that, you know, that Ukrainian war was going to happen, but that Ukrainian war had already started. There are things that lead up to wars, you understand? And what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and I want to ask a question. Somebody tell me, when was the start, or what was the catalyst? Let's say that. What was the catalyst for World War III, which we are in right now? What was the catalyst? What started World War III? Of course, our oppressors started it. We know that, right? But give me what do they call it? Give me a bullet point. Give me a bullet point on how World War III started. And World War III, and I'm gonna give you a hint. It was over 50 years ago.
When when Israel took over, when they overthrew the their government. Was it
You said the Israelis?
not Israel? Was Ukraine?
Ukraine? No, I said over 50 years ago. Listen, how did World War III start? The beginning of World War III. Check this out. I'm gonna give you. It's a catalyst. It's not how did it started, but what was the engine? You understand? The gas that went into the engine. Remember, I'm just gonna tell you, right? Remember this, right? At the end of World War II, you understand? There was a single superpower. Of course, who was that superpower? America, right? But before that, there were 6 powers. You know the 6 powers?
America, Russia.
Russia was called The Soviet Union at the time, right? So you got the two.
Britain.
Great Britain. That's three.
Um,
Japan,
Man, hey,
Germany, and Italy. Now, of course, they had other countries behind them, but they were the powers at the time. You had smaller countries that backed those countries, but those were the main six powers at the time, right? In September 1945 is when the whole war had ended, right? That's history. 1945, September 1945 is when World War II ended. At that time, there was only one power standing, which was America. America was the only country that a bomb never hit America. Every other country got destroyed, utterly pummeled in that. Every other country had to rebuild. You understand? Let me go into it a little bit, right? After World War II had ended, every nation involved was destroyed, physically destroyed and broken economies, with the exception of the United States, we did not experience any attacks on it, of course. You understand? Go ahead. What you grade?
So Russia wasn't really Soviet war, right? It wasn't really effective either, right? Like I think
No. Remember, the Germans had went into Russia. Remember, they had fought and they had Stalin. They had fought in what's the country in that last war where they had destroyed the Germans, because remember when the Germans had finally got into Russia, that's when they had it was the winter time was coming, and that's where the Germans made their fatal mistake, and instead of attacking in the Soviet Union in the summertime where they would have been able to trek in, they got sidetracked and decided to, I can't remember the other places that they decided to go, and they left the Soviet Union for last. Well, by the time they went into the Soviet Union, the winter began to come in, and all of those what they called those German tanks, the German tanks that they had, all of a sudden, they began, because of that Russian winter, they begin to freeze up. Just when you had all of those Germans freezing to death. Remember, at that time too, they had the Germans on the opioids at that time. So they was pushing through everything. They was battling for days at a time because they was basically high. You understand? But that Russian winter is what destroyed them. But the Soviet Union got destroyed and their economy fell at the same time. So Japan's economy fell, Italy's economy fell, Germany's economy fell. Great Britain was utterly destroyed. They got carpet bombed to death. You understand what I'm saying? And what was the other country that it was Germany, France, France. They were destroyed. So that was the three powers, right? So they were utterly destroyed. The only economy that was left was the United States, right? See, the United States had the smarts to say, well, shoot, we could rebuild all of those countries, and then they decided to start the United Nations under, what was the president at the time? It wasn't Roosevelt, was it? Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get that president. That president right at the end of World War II. Who was the president at the end of World War II? If anybody in the comment, tell me who the president was at the end of World War II. See if we can get that. The president at the end of World War II. Let him plug it in anyway. Would you? Yeah. Give him a second. Give him 60 seconds. 60 seconds. You got it though, right? Okay. Yeah. The president at the end of World War II, but in any way, right? America had found another industry and decided to start the United Nations. Did anybody plug it in?
Uh,
Give me the president. What was the president?
Queen Brazilian Harry S. Truman.
There you go, Harry Truman. Harry Truman was the president that had the idea of starting the United Nations. And in starting the United Nations, America was the head of the United Nations. And in being the head of the United Nations, America got to create all the rules in the United Nations. So when the United Nations started, there were 5 permanent members placed into the United Nations, which meant they had veto power. You understand what I'm saying? So what was the 5 permanent members of the United Nations? Somebody give me that. The 5 permanent members of the United Nations when the United Nations was started. Because it's still the same members today. Still the same members today. I know she got that quick. She probably gonna get it again. Yeah. And we already know one was America. Anybody got that?
Not yet.
The 5 nations who were permanent members of the United Nations. Those are also the 5 nations that had the veto power. In any way, right? Of course, America wasn't attacked. America's mainland wasn't attacked. That attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese was in Honolulu, Hawaii. So that really didn't count as an attack on American soil. American soil, of course, is North America. The Axis powers, meaning the powers who were against the Allied powers. The Allied powers was the United States, Great Britain, and France. Somebody got it?
Yeah.
What's those 5 permanent seats?
You got Queen Brazilian again. You got China, France, Russia, and the United Kingdom.
United Kingdom and the United States. Exactly right. Right? So now you have the Axis powers. This was the powers that went against the United States. You understand? Those Axis powers were Germany, Italy, and Japan, right? So of course we know what the Allied powers were, right? The Allied powers was Great Britain, France, and the United States, right? So America funded getting all of those nations rebuilt, right? Under certain stipulations. The stipulations that America put on those nations was that if we help you rebuild and we bring you into the United Nations, then basically you'll help us do our bidding. That's how the United States got a foothold on all of the nations under the United Nations. The United States has veto power, and all it takes is one veto to veto anything within the United States. So United States uses that veto power as leverage over all the other nations, right? So let's just take the war in over there in Israel right now with the Palestinians, right? Every nation voted against that war against the Palestinians, but the United States vetoed it. The one nation vetoed it. And that's why what's happening over there is still happening. And no nation can go against the United States. Why? Because the United States uses what? What does the United States use against these other nations to keep those other nations under their foot? Let's see if our sister can answer that question. She probably gonna get it. Get it. I don't think she's gonna get it.
No, Princess, nobody answered, but I missed Princess Dakia.
Princess Takia.
Yeah, she answered a few questions too. Wow.
Okay, are they right?
Yeah, it's right.
Oh, good looking. All right, Princess. All right, all right, all right. I got to get that name right. My eyes are. I can't see from here.
Like,
How you spell it?
Thachachayy.
Thakaya. 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 Yeah. Okay. I hope I said it right. But what does the United States use against the nations to keep those other nations underfoot? What does the United Nations use? What do you think?
United, like the country that's under them.
Yeah, what do the United States use to keep them underfoot? What did the United States use to keep nations in control?
Yeah.
No. I mean, okay, all right. No. They use certain things to keep certain nations in line.
One West Princess Taliban said military.
They use military as a last resort, but the first thing they use something else before military. That's a good try, though. They do use that, but that's not a first resort. The military is a last resort. I'm gonna give you the answer. The answer is sanctions. The United States uses sanctions. Think about what Cuba looks like today. Because the United States used sanctions against Cuba to control Cuba. Remember the Cuba the missile crisis, the Cuba missile crisis that happened in 1958. The Russians went into Cuba and tried to place nuclear weapons inside of Cuba. That's how the Cuban Missile Crisis happened. So in doing that, the United States said, nah, we're not having that, right? They say Cuba, go ahead, what you gonna say?
Pretty much saying like, all right, so if y'all got bananas, we ain't nobody gonna buy y'all bananas.
There you go. So we had a whole lot of goods coming out of Cuba at the time. So now what the United States does is they use sanctions. They put sanctions on Cuba. And then what happens is any nation dealing with Cuba, they put sanctions on those nations. This is the reason why it's so easy to get in the United Nations. But then once you get into the United Nations, you get a foothold put on you. So it's all kinds of rules and stipulations that go against all the other nations, but not against the United States. The United States is what do they call it? Something that doesn't affect you. Come on, what's the word? I can't believe I can't think right now. Yeah, when something affects everybody else, but it doesn't affect you, they are. Oh man, come on, think. I've been working too hard. You know how, all right, you make a rule and you say that everybody has to stand by this rule, but you don't have to abide by the rule. It's a word. Man, God, man, my brain is anyway. All right. United States, this is how they get it. All right, think about this, right? This is the same thing that the United States does to us today. Right? The United States places sanctions on the children of Israel. How does the United States place sanctions on the children of Israel?
Pretty much keeping our neighborhood occupied by somebody else, so that we can't get certain jobs, do certain things. And if we try to come up against them, we get like whatever that group is that comes up against it,
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you a better look. And sisters really don't even know that sanctions have been placed against them. This is what the United States does to sisters, and I'm speaking to the sisters personally. If a sister tries to open a beauty shop or a beauty salon, not a beauty salon, but a the one where you buy all of the goods at, you know what I mean? The hair products, the hair care products, and all of that stuff. The United States, say that again. Yeah, but is that what? Not where you get your hair done at, but yeah, yeah, where you buy the beauty products from. You see how all the Asians got all of those? That's a sanction against the sisters. If the sister try to open one of those shops, in their neighborhood or in a neighborhood where one of those are, they come in, they'll have inspectors and everything come in, and they'll have them, have to abide by all kinds of rules and regulations and stuff like that, and don't have the Asians to do the same thing. It's just like with sub shops in our neighborhood. You see how filthy the sub shops be in our neighborhood, right? You don't see no inspection stickers up on their wall. But if you get a one in the neighborhood, they're going to come by and make sure you got that inspection sticker. If you don't get that inspection sticker, then you get shut down. Those are sanctions against us in our neighborhoods, just like we look at all of the East Indians owning all of the Dunkin' Donuts in our neighborhoods. Don't you want to own a Dunkin' Donuts? Think about it. All of the Kennedy Fried Chicken spots. How does the Arabs own all of the Kennedy Fried Chicken spots? These are sanctions that go against us. Well, America does the same thing to us that they do to those other nations. This is how America got itself into World War III. This is the beginning, starting way back. You understand what I'm saying? Because once you continue to put your foot on a person's neck, eventually that person's going to fight back. This is what we're seeing today, right? So now, after World War II, this was the last war that America won. You understand what I'm saying? Ask another question. Here we go again, right? After World War II, I thought somebody sent the what's the name? After World War II, what was the next war after World War II? Let's see if somebody can get that. Talking about major war. Somebody give me that answer. 60 seconds. See if somebody come up with that.
We got Berlin 2011 said Vietnam.
Not Vietnam. Not Vietnam.
Tola Muhammad said Korea.
There you go. The Korean War. The Korean War was from 1950 to 1953. That was the next war. You understand? And guess what? In that Korean War, that was a war that America lost. Every war after World War II, America lost. But in our minds and in the history books, when you hear it from the side of America, America makes us believe that they won all of those wars. You understand? This is a precursor to what's going to happen eventually in World War III to America. America lost that war, but America used Korea as a proxy in that war. That's the reason why you have a North Korea and a South Korea now. You understand? America has done that to several nations. When you look at India and Bangladesh, right? That was one country. But because America went in with the CIA and had them break up and had a coup on them, that's now you have India on one side and you have Bangladesh on the other side. This is what America do. America comes in and destabilizes nations. But guess what? Eventually, America is going to be destabilized. And guess what else? America destabilizes us right here in America. How does America destabilize us? They separate us. You understand? You're either Democrat or you're Republican. When a Democrat sees a Republican or you see a black dude with a MAGA hat, what do? You immediately get upset. Why? Why? We don't benefit from anything in America, but America has us believing, and they give us that illusion of inclusion. They make us think we're included in America, but that Constitution was written when? When was the Constitution written? 1776, something like that, right? When was the Constitution written?
1787.
1787. Where was we at in 1787? We was enslaved. 1787, we was enslaved. But they make us believe that we are included in that Constitution. Think about it, right? We get brainwashed all the way from the time we're children, right? Think about the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Think about this. Now listen to this. And to the republic for which it stands. See, the American flag stands for the republic. A republic, not a democracy, but a republic. Then you have to ask yourself, what is a republic? A republic is when people choose leaders to speak for them. The leaders are supposed to go out and speak for you on your behalf or for the laws that you want. But look at what we're under. We're under a republic which goes out and benefits the ways of America. Think about it, right? None of us, who cares about a war over there in Israel or Palestine, right? Who cares about a Ukrainian war? Who gives a damn about a Korean war? You understand what I'm saying? Or even more, a Vietnam war. All of those things we fought against, but that was America's wishes. You understand what I'm saying? That's what America wanted to do. Everything that's happening outside of America are the things that America wants to do. You don't get to vote on that. You understand? And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, and to the indivisible. Indivisible. That means unbreakable, undividable, right? But we all know that you have red states and you have blue states. That's a divided nation. Everything that they say they stand for is a smokescreen. We are basically, just like we always say, we the engine what makes America go, right? So now, what's the next war after that Korean War, which is the Vietnam War? They lost that war, the Vietnam War. You understand? The Vietnamese is over there running their country regardless. And then the thing about it is we look at how many people get destroyed in a nation. And we decide that that's the winner and the loser. Whoever got the most knots on their head. Boom. You understand what I'm saying? But if you don't absolutely take over that nation and control that nation's government, you lost that war. They lost the Vietnam War. What was the next war after that? That was the Persian Gulf War. They lost the Persian Gulf War. What was the war after that? The war after that was the Afghan War. And then they had the what? The Iraqi War. They lost all of those wars. America, after World War II, America lost every war after that. But when we see it in the history books, and by the way they plug it into our mind, they make us think. Because I believed we won all of those wars. We didn't. You understand? Just because you have a presence in a nation doesn't mean you won that war, you know, of that nation. Especially when a nation breaks into two and you have a North and a South. You understand what I'm saying? So now we're right here. We right here, right now, right? We know what a democracy is. We know a democracy goes directly against us. This is the reason why we don't vote for America. This is the reason why we don't include ourselves in America. You understand? What does the scripture say? The scriptures say what? Come out of her, my people. You understand? Come out of those customs and culture. Come out of that democratic or what is a Republican, whatever they want to call it. You understand? We're not included in any of that. We have to set ourselves aside. The Most High set us apart from all nations. You understand? We're supposed to be above all nations. But when you're including yourself in a nation, when you believe you are that nation, when you believe you're a part of that nation, we put ourselves under that nation. Remember this, right? When you integrate into anything, you become the thing you integrate into. You understand? So think about what I always say. You ever see Star Trek: The Next Generation? Star Trek: The Next Generation, they had an entity called the Borg. And the Borg came in. The Borg made you believe that if you come join the Borg, then things are going to be great. Everything's going to be wonderful. And once you got sucked into that Borg, you became a part of that Borg, then they destroyed the rest of your nation. Well, that's what America does. America is like that Borg, that entity. America makes you believe this is the land of milk and honey. You understand? This is one big melting pot. You understand? This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. And then once you get sucked into America, you become a part of America, and then America wipes whatever you had out. This is the reason why our history is wiped out. This is the reason why a lot of us don't know where we come from. We don't know any of our history because we became a part of America. We became a part of that Borg. Now we think we are America. We believe we are Americans. You understand? So in that, when you include yourself into anything, you become the thing that you include yourself into. That's why we got destroyed by integration. That's why America was happy to, push integration. Martin Luther King did what? He pushed integration. They borged Martin Luther King, and then Martin Luther King sucked us into integration. We thought it was going to be a good thing, and then what happened? We lost all of our businesses because of integration. We lost all of our schools. Think about this too, right? Every day you send your child to school, your child is being Borg, but what's the term? They're being patrionized, What should I say? Should I say patriot? They're becoming more of a patriot of America. And just like we said before, what's the first thing that you learn as a child going into the school system? You learn the Pledge of Allegiance. When you pledge your allegiance to anybody, you pledge your allegiance to them and away from your people. Think about it. When America brings immigrants in, they make them take a test and then they make them pledge allegiance to that flag. So now you have Hispanics on TV talking about we need to lock up those illegal immigrants. We got black people talking about, well, they need to be locked up. You understand what I'm saying? Because we have been indoctrinated. You understand? This is what America does. Let's go forward, right? Where are we going at? No, we're going into January 6th. January 6th. Think about January 6th, right? What happened on January 6th? The insurrection. That was what you can call the first shot fired. Not the first shot fired, but the first shot that everybody noticed something was wrong. See, when America does things, we believe, because we've been so brainwashed, we believe that that's good. You understand? To go into Afghanistan and destroy Afghanistan. And really, nobody even really realizes when they first went into Afghanistan, Afghanistan produced 60% of the poppy for the world. They provided America with 55% of the poppy that America was getting at the time before the 9/11. After they went into Afghanistan, they provided 95% of the poppy of the world from Afghanistan, and 90% of America's poppy came in. Think about what just happened. Did America go into war, or did they go in to steal, pillage, rob, rape, and murder? You understand? Go ahead.
I heard somewhere that, like, around like the early 2000s, somewhere around that time, like it was scarce for you to get like pretty much like cocaine ready.
I ain't gonna say it was scarce, but remember, at certain times of the year, you always had a drought. You understand? You always had a time where stuff dried up. Being in the street, you seen when it ain't nothing out here. You understand what I'm saying? All of those times came, but right, like I said, when 9/11 hit, and then right after 9/11, when all of that started coming in, boom. It wasn't no more droughts. Droughts was a rare thing. You understand? It was always some place to get stuff. Now think about this, right? In 2019, out the port of Philadelphia, they got almost $1 billion worth of cocaine coming in the port of Philadelphia. 2019. If I'm not mistaken, it was like I want to say June, right? June of 2019, but on the same day or the day after, right down here, they got 330 pounds right at the port of Baltimore. Right? So that much came in Philadelphia 2019 in the same day or the day after. And I believe it was the same day the port of Baltimore got hit with 330 pounds right down here, which they said it came up to almost $10 million off the port of Baltimore. Street value, but I think they underestimated because, of course, you understand what I'm saying? World War III. When you start destroying your own people, which, of course, America has been doing it for years anyway, right? But my whole point is if they caught that on the port, how much got through, right? A lot of times, especially when they publicize it, then they don't say what boat it came in on. They don't say, who owned the boat. They don't say who packed it away. They don't say where it got loaded from. You understand? They only say we got it. The only thing we think about is, damn, they down there doing their job. But in Philly and in Baltimore, damn near on the same day. Come on now. It's not by happenstance. So if that got caught, how much got through? And we always talk about that. I hear the brothers on Black Watch saying that all the time. You understand? And that's how we all think. If they pop that right there, then because of course we don't own any boats, right? Which of us cooking up that much? You understand? And not to mention coming from another country, because anything coming from another country comes in on a boat like that. It's got to be coming from another country. You understand? And then don't nobody know where it came from. We just caught it. We ain't see who put the ticket on it. We ain't see who put the seal on it. Somebody got to check it. Nobody ever gets arrested, but we made a bus. You understand? Now, back to January 6th. January 6th, all hell broke loose, right? If you can, this is the fall, and this is the end of America, the beginning, which we see, of course, it's a lot of things that lead up to this. And then America gets power struck. America is a power struck country. And a lot of times, think about a bully, right? You beat up one person, you get a little bit more confidence. You beat up another person. Next thing you know, you beating people up. And you got all of this confidence. A lot of people don't realize America really stopped fighting up the front and began to use proxy countries. Just like this war against Russia, right? The war against Russia, America used Ukraine as a proxy. America says, and America knows its weaknesses. And I'm talking about her own weaknesses. America knows. So instead of her getting in a fight directly, she sent another dude. Go ahead, hit him. And dumbass Ukraine do what? And look where they laying at right now, being utterly destroyed. And America saying, well, we doing all we can. You understand what I'm saying? Just like this war in Israel. Israel might be utterly destroying the Palestinians, but they getting destroyed by Hezbollah, Hamas. They getting destroyed by Iran and all of that. You understand? And America say, hey, we doing what we can. You understand? Using them as a proxy. A lot of times, what did if a dude pushed another dude to go fight another dude, what was he doing? He instigating, but he want to see how tough this dude is. He don't want to get hit in the mouth, so he sends somebody else in. America is getting weak. America is a I don't really want to say a paper tiger, but a paper tiger. America got the growl, but America don't got the punch that everybody think that she got. You understand what I'm saying? So America is using resources to make it look powerful. When you use the dollar to control other countries, when you use sanctions, just like America uses child support against us, just like America uses the justice system against us. You understand? Look at how many brothers we got locked up. Those are sanctions. You understand? When you can redline somebody, those are sanctions. When you can control where people live at, those are sanctions. We got to look at what America is doing is the same thing that America is doing to us. What America does to all of those countries out there are the same thing that America does to us. This is the fall of America. America's weaknesses are beginning to show through. Countries are beginning to wake up. You see that little thing that they started now, BRICS, right? If you can grab Job 18, Job chapter 18. Yeah, Job chapter 18, we're going to start at verse 11. But think about this, right? Everything that's happening, you understand? The weaknesses of America is beginning to show through. You understand? Everything that's happening now is weakening America, even putting sanctions. Think about this, right? I don't want to get too far off, but think about a tariff. They talk about putting tariffs on China. How do you put tariffs on China? How do you do it? A tariff. A tariff is like a tax, right? It's a tax on goods coming in. But you can't really put a tax on goods coming in on the country that's sending the goods in. The tariff actually hits the consumer of the people buying the product. So they said they're going to put 100% tax, 100% tariff on Chinese cars coming in, right? They said China makes the best electric vehicles, whether it be cars or trucks. They said China's making great electric vehicles at $30,000. If you put 100% tariff on a $30,000 vehicle, by the time it gets to America, how much is it? $60,000. So the $60,000 doesn't hit China. The $60,000 hits us right here in America. So the tariffs don't affect China. The tariffs affect us right here, right? So now our economy is going up because if you decide not to get those vehicles from China, we got to buy all of these $100,000, $60,000, $80,000 vehicles right here from America. And then our economy goes up. Not our economy, but anyway, what we paying goes up. We feel the effects, not the Chinese. because they still got their $30,000 vehicles over there, vehicles that are better than ours. We feel all of that. You understand? So now, just like we was talking about BRICS, what's that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They got countries joining them, and now they're making an alliance, and they're bringing in countries with them to take down America and the United Nations and the what's that, the G7 or whatever they call it. You understand? That goes against all of these other nations. So now nations are fighting back against what America has, and now America's economy is going to about to be start to crumble, just like Israel's economy is already crumbling. You understand? And America keeps feeding their economy. And then if America's feeding their economy, who is it coming from? It's coming from us. You understand? Let's get into that scripture right there. You got that?
Yeah.
Let's read that.
This is Job chapter 18, verse 11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
Say that again.
Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
Hey, anybody competes with America, that's a terror. You understand? And America has terrors on every side. You understand? All of these other nations are beginning to stand up and buck at America. You understand? These countries, I mean, you can only do but so much when you giving all of your blood, sweat, and tears. It's just like, you ever see that joint on YouTube when that Hispanic dude got fired at the job and all the Hispanics stood up and they all rolled out? Oh man, that was awesome, right? Listen, this is what these nations are doing to America now. Nations starting to stand up and say, hold up. You understand? You pulling too much rank and authority over everybody because they have control of the whole system. They make the laws, but they don't have to abide by the laws. Eventually, nations get tired of that. That's just like those Hispanic brothers at that spot. One of their brothers got fired and they all rolled out. You understand? Listen, it says terror shall make them afraid on every side. America plays like it's strong, but it's feeling the effect. The fear is coming across America. You understand? Go ahead.
And it shall drive him to his feet.
So what does that mean, shall drive him to his feet? What does that mean, it shall drive him to his feet? Exactly, get up, but to drive him to his feet. Remember, think about it. If you're running the earth since 1945, you've been in command, been in control of the earth, damn near 80 years. After the first 40 years, how you looking? You laid back like this. You got your hands back. You got your feet kicked up. All of a sudden, somebody drives you to your feet. You become alert. You alert now because terrorists are on every side. You understand what I'm saying? So you've been driven to your feet. You've been put into an alert position. You understand? You've been put into an alert position because now nations are rising. Nations are coming up against you. You understand? Terror shall make him afraid on every side. And what does it say again?
Terror shall make him afraid on every side.
There you go. Go ahead.
And shall drive him to his feet.
Now he's been driven to his feet. Now America is alert. You understand? And that's how we should be. Not in the case of America, but we should be alert and alert of what America has been doing to us. Listen, this is the reason why we go out there on those corners and we speak. We're alerting our people. We're trying to drive our people to their feet so they can understand. Go ahead. What?
He said, well, stand up and start making moves.
There you go. Yeah, you can say that too. Yep. You understand? Driving him to his feet is making him stand and making him be alert. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 12. His strength shall be hunger bit.
Say that again.
His strength shall be hunger bitten.
What does that mean? His strength shall be hunger bitten. What does that mean? Think about what's going on with America right now. Think about what America's doing right now. America's strength is hunger bitten right now. Meaning, think about what America's doing. America is fighting in Ukraine, right? America's fighting in Israel. Did you know America was still fighting in Yemen? America's still fighting in Afghanistan. America's still fighting in Iraq. America's strength is hunger bitten. Listen, when you got so many irons in the fire, when you're fighting on so many fronts, your strength becomes hunger bitten. You become, go ahead, what you great say?
It ain't gonna have no bite to it.
Not that it's not gonna have any bite to it, but your strength becomes hunger bitten when you begin to fight on too many fronts. I can't say that it's not going to have any bite, but this is the way this is the way Rome fell. Rome tried to cover too much territory. Think about this, right? America has over 800 bases all over the globe. 800 military bases all over the globe. How can you have that many bases, military bases all over, and monitor all of that? You understand what I'm saying? Eventually, you're going to spread yourself too thin. Eventually, you're going to be hunger bitten. Your strength is going to be, you're going to be weakened. That's how Rome fell, because they had so many military forces in so many different places that their home became weak. Eventually, if you got so many military bases all over the globe and all over the earth, eventually you forget about home and you become hunger bitten. Your strength becomes hunger bitten. The strength of America is being weakened. You understand? Go ahead.
And destruction shall be ready for his side.
And destruction shall be ready at his side. Listen. All of these nations are just, think about what China doing right now. China just sitting back watching the festivities. Read that again.
And destruction shall be ready at his side.
Hey, listen, China is ready at his side. Russia is ready at his side. South Africa is ready at his side. India is ready at his side. Brazil is ready at his side. All of these nations are watching America fall. America doesn't even know she's falling. Think about, look at how all of these congressmen and delegates are talking in the Senate. Yeah, we need to go to war. We need to war with China. Not even seeing how weak America is. All of these nations are ready at her side. America's falling and doesn't even see it. Think about this, right? When we first came into the truth and we was hearing about World War III, it was hard to believe. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you begin, when Commanding General Yohanna began to give us that insight, and then we begin to understand what we were seeing, then it became a reality to us. But a lot of us didn't see it because we didn't get the truth. They didn't get the truth we got. They didn't get the understanding that we got. They didn't get the vision from Commanding General Yohanna that we got. So we saw something, and then when we took it back out on the street, our brothers and sisters got upset, mad, and pissed. You understand? Now everybody's starting to wake up. Think about what's going on in these churches now. Think about how you see people starting to change their rhetoric. How they used to call us crazy, right? Look at them now. You understand? Because what Commanding General Yohanna said was going to come, now they're beginning to see it. They're beginning to see it because we were out there speaking it on those streets. You understand? Go ahead. Come.
Verse 13. it shall devour the strength of his skin.
What does that mean? Shall devour the strength of his skin. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Shall devour. Look at it. Listen, look at what it's saying. Let's see if somebody in the chat can get it. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Give him 60 seconds. The strength of his skin. It shall devour the strength of his skin. And you can see what it's talking about right there. Shall devour the strength of his skin. Somebody get it?
Because say break down his protection.
The strength of his skin, Bakar. Give it, hit me with it again, Bakar. Shall break down his protection. You kind of on it, right? But you got your back turned. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Go ahead. What you got?
Like it's saying, like devour the strength of his skin, man. It's gonna take the. He's gonna look weak. It's gonna tear him up the way it was like he's not looking strong.
No. No, it shall devour the strength. Listen, think about, listen. All right, listen. Think about our oppressor, right? It's going to devour the strength of his skin. Go ahead, wait, what they got?
Ron said,
I know. Go ahead.
white people can't use that.
I bet he got it. He sound like he got it. What did he say?
Can't use that. I'm not sure what this word is. Completion.
There you go. He got it.
Completion.
The complexion. Listen. White power. The complexion. He got the complexion. The strength of his skin. When white people step up, what do black people do? They get quiet, or they get humble, or they begin to talk like white people, or they begin to not want to, you know, what do they call it? They don't want to be disrespectful in front of white people. That's just like when the president of the United States steps into the United Nations, the strength of his skin causes them to humble themselves when he steps up. Remember that song? Remember that saying used to come on a long time ago, when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens? You don't remember that? That's an old commercial. Well, it's just like when the president of the United States steps up, all of the other nations listen. The strength of his skin causes other nations to adhere to what he's saying. It causes them to respect what he's saying. It causes them to take his commands. The strength of his skin. Just like when the police step up and he tells you to do something, what do? You do what he says, right? Because of the strength of his uniform. That's our oppressor's uniform, his skin. The strength of his skin. You get it? Listen. When the police step up, when the police lights come on behind you, what happens? Your heart begins, because of the strength of those police lights. Well, the strength of his skin is what he uses to command everything that he does. And nobody steps up to step against him because of the strength of his skin. You understand what I'm saying? So with the strength of his skin, it says, it shall devour the strength of his skin. So that strength of his skin that he had when he stepped up and commanded everything, that strength is now being weakened. We don't respect the strength of his skin now. When you see, think about it, right? When you see a bully get knocked out, then he get beat up again, then he get beat up again, you like, hold up. Oh, no, he ain't saying that to me. Because his strength has been weakened. The strength of his skin has been devoured. So now you looking at him in a different light. Well, this is what's happening to the other nations. The other nations are now looking at him in a different light. Oh, he's not as tough as we thought. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try him. You understand what I'm saying? We've been in a situation where you had a bully in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden he get beat up and come on. You're like, yo, I'm not letting that nigga do that to me again. You understand? Because the strength of his skin or the strength of his personality has been devoured. So much so that now my confidence level has gone up enough where I'm not having it anymore. Well, in this scripture right here, it says, it shall devour the strength of his skin. So everything that's happening, think about what the line over top, it says, his strength shall be hunger bitten, right? His strength, because he's so stretched out, he's gotten weakened. So now, because he's gotten weakened, now you're looking at it shall devour everything that's happening has devoured the strength of his skin. So the way we look at the oppressor now, we don't look at him the same way because now we see how weak he has become. You understand? That's what that means. It says it shall devour the strength of his skin. You understand? Go ahead.
Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle.
What does that mean? His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. Where's his confidence at?
In his army, in his military.
His army, in his military, in his government, in his Senate, in his think about this, right? Think about all of those old congressmen, all of those old men in the Senate making all of those moves that they think are power moves, sending people over to destroy people in other countries, sending all of this money to Ukraine, talking about how we need to destroy Putin, how we need to destroy, the South Africans, the Brazilians, the East Indians. You understand? All of these old people making all of these moves. You understand what I'm saying? It says that's where their confidence is. The confidence is in that government. The confidence is in that military. But once you start to realize that military has lost all of those wars before, now you start looking at them different. You understand? The confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. All of that confidence that those senators and those congressmen have to do what they're doing, eventually they're going to lose that confidence. Eventually, they're not going to feel like they felt before. Eventually, they're going to like, man, damn. Should we send the military out for another ass whooping? You understand what I'm saying? Man, maybe we can go and talk to these people. You know what I mean? Now you want to talk. Remember, you know how after the bully got beat up, man, maybe I should go in and talk to him. And you sitting there like, oh, now you want to talk to him. After you got your ass kicked, now you want to talk to him. You understand? This is what it's saying. It says his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. The tabernacle is a house, a building, a structure where everything happens at. That military, listen, all of those laws and all of those instructions come from the government. The government's the one sending out saying, we're going to do this. Let's vote on this, and we're going to send our troops over there, and we're going to do that. We're going to send them over there into Cuba. We're going to destabilize, just like, destabilize Cuba. You understand? Well, eventually, that confidence in doing all of that is going to be rooted out of that tabernacle. You understand? Rooted out of the place where all of it comes from. You understand? Go ahead.
And it shall bring him to the king of terror.
Who's that king of terrors? Who's the king of terrors? It's going to bring him to the king of terrors. Think about it. The king of terrors. It's the most high. The king of terrors. Ain't nothing higher than that. The king of terrors. Eventually, he going to meet his maker in World War III. Eventually, America's going to be destroyed. Right now, think about it, right? I watch a lot of international news. I listen to what the people saying from the backside because they don't let us do that. They don't let us hear what the people over there are really saying. You understand? Just like the other day, I heard them say, "Oh, Russia's losing this war." Well, how is Russia losing this war? And y'all said they barely got an army in Ukraine. You understand what I'm saying? Russia has taken over 4 oblasts already, meaning they got 4 sections of maybe small countries over there that Russia has already taken over. You understand? Russia got the upper hand. It's a war of attrition, meaning this is a slow, drawn out war. You understand? Where Russia knows they have a 10-to-1 ratio over the Ukrainians, and the Ukrainians are utterly destroyed. America's already talking about letting this war go. But you just heard them the other day talking about Russia is losing the war. How can Russia be losing the war if they have already taken so much in this? And remember, Russia, and a lot of people don't really understand that Russia did not start this war. Who started the war? Who started the war in Ukraine? Somebody tell me who started that war in Ukraine. I know they're going to get this. I know they're going to get that quick. 60 seconds. Somebody tell me who started that war in Ukraine. Hey, grab that Obadiah for me. Who started that war in Ukraine? Let me see how smart the people are. I already know they smart. They gonna get it. Somebody gonna get it. Anybody get it yet? Know who started that war in Ukraine?
The car said, was it America, sir?
Definitely America. Definitely America. America didn't have the balls to step to the Russians themselves, so they used Ukraine as a proxy. And now Ukraine is getting the back of his head smashed in. And now America is ready to leave Ukraine high and dry. You understand? And a lot of people, another piece of history that a lot of people don't know is that Ukraine was a place where after that World War II, a lot of those German soldiers or those Nazis ran to. You understand? That's where a lot of the Nazis ran to. That's why Putin was calling them a Nazi country, because those are the babies of the Nazis that came out of World War II. You understand? So now Putin is kicking their backs in. Go ahead. Obama. It started before Obama, because they had been trying to get Ukraine into the United Nations since about 2004, if I'm not mistaken. This was before Obama. You understand? But they kept telling them in Congress, they kept telling them they couldn't bring Ukraine into the United Nations because it would cause a war with Russia, because Ukraine is in Russia. And in actuality, Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. A little bit of history. Since we are in history, might as well tell a little bit of history, you know. But that was the those are the babies of a lot of those Nazis that escaped after World War II. And another side note, America did a lot of looting and stealing during World War II. They just found in Nantucket, up in Boston, they just found a whole lot of Japanese treasures, the artifacts from World War II. America did a lot of looting. They just found it 3 days ago up in Boston. They said it was a whole attic full of stolen artifacts from Japan after World War II that they couldn't find. They found them up in Boston. How? In Boston. Think about it, right? In Boston. One of the founding colonies, right? That's one of the beginning. Yeah. I saw that on the news. I saw that on the news yesterday or the day before. See how America like to bring stuff out? So who are they going to take it back to? Because everybody that they stole it from probably is gone now, you know? So America's a wicked country. You know what I mean? America's a whole wicked country. And think about it, right? Even with the democracy, every time they go into another, think about this, right? The Crusaders started in the 9th century, all the way through the 12th century. That's from 1000 AD up until 1300 AD, right? That's the 9th through the 12th century, right? How did they spread democracy? How did they spread Christianity? Through the sword, right? They went from nation or country to country spreading Christianity. And what they used to do, they used to send the priest in first to talk to the people, try to get them to convert like that, right? If they wouldn't convert like that, then what did they do? They came in with the Crusaders, with the swords, and began to kill everybody. You understand? Unalive everybody and beat them into submission and made them convert to Christianity like that, right? If they didn't convert to Christianity after that, what did they do? They burned the village or the town down and moved to the next one. Well, it's the same way with democracy. When America comes in, when America catches the country off guard, you understand? Let's say a disaster happens. America catches that country off guard, and they come in and say, well, look, we'll give you what they call it. We'll give you aid. We'll give you aid. But in turn of us giving you aid, you have to become a democracy. So now think about all of these monarchies that used to be around. Remember, a monarchy is somebody run by a family or one person. They had a king or a queen, a monarchy, right? So why aren't there many monarchies today? Because Great Britain came in and forced them by the sword. Well, America does it right now using the sanctions. So they come in and say they promise aid, but in turn of us giving you aid, you have to become a democratic, nation. You have to become a democratic nation, right? And in becoming a democratic nation, you have to follow these rules. And then in following these rules, you have to come up under these laws. We'll give you everything that you need. We'll take care of you and everything like that. And then a lot of those nations, they say the stipulation is you can't have nuclear weapons. So if you can't have nuclear weapons, what can't you do? Can't defend yourself. And this is the same thing. And people laugh and they talk about Kim Jong-un, but Kim Jong-un was smart. He said, I'm not giving up my nuclear weapons so you can make me look like Saudi Arabia like you did them. You understand? Or so you can make me look like the European Union like you did them, like you did Germany, like you did Poland, like you did all of those nations. No. You understand what I'm saying? People see through it, and then what did they do? They say Kim Jong-un is crazy. Something wrong with him. Oh, no, he's not crazy. He's smart. He put his nation first. A lot of times when you give up the ranch for something like that, you put yourself first, not the nation. So all of these people in the EU or the European Union, they're getting all of this money from the United Nations or the United States, but they're weak as all outdoors. They have to succumb to anything that the United Nations says or the United States says. This is how they get them under their foot. The European Union, the United Nations is the weakest thing on earth because it's run by a bunch of weak nations that the United States put up under their foot. This is the reason why Russia stepped to the side and China stepped to the side and India stepped to the side and Brazil and all of them stepped to the side and created the BRICS. So they wouldn't have to be sanctioned by the United States. All of those sanctions that the United States put on to Russia have backfired. And guess what? Our what they call it, that went up. Our economy, you understand, took a hit. Our economy took a hit. So we feel it. So all of those people that's up in Congress, up in the Senate and stuff like that, they getting paid under the table and to the side. That's why they can make all of those decisions. All they got to do is keep taxing us. Taxes go up on us. They taking all of our money, sending it over to Ukraine, sending it over to Israel, to the Israelis and things like that. Forget about us. You know, oh, they'll live another day. You know what I'm saying? To drain our pockets again. You understand? So like I said, democracy was spread the same way. What scripture did I tell you to get? Obadiah. Start at 3. Mm-hmm.
This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
You see that right there, right? The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Think about what it's saying. America's pride have deceived it. America believes in the strength of her skin. You understand? America believes that she is America of 1945, of 1989, 1990. You understand? America believes that she is. Did you ever seen a crackhead that was fine back in the day? And then all of a sudden they walking around and they still think they still look like they did back in the day, but you see what they really look like? That's America. America is that crackhead that thinks she's still fine. You understand? Go ahead.
Thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rocks.
Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks. Now we know who our oppressor is. Go ahead.
Whose habitation is high.
Whose habitation is high. Go ahead.
In his heart.
What?
Who saith in his heart.
Go ahead.
Who shall bring me down to the ground?
Listen, this is how America thinks. This is how all of those Democrats and Republicans in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, this is how they think. Who shall bring me down to the ground? Who shall beat us? Who shall topple America? You understand? Like, listen, that's that crackhead back in the day. You understand? You ever seen an old dude There used to be a football player back in the day. He still think he could do it. And then next thing you know, he get out there and he tear himself up and get hurt up by the young boys. This is America today. Who shall bring me down to the ground? This is what America says on the news all day long. This is if you ever hear the reporters on the news, oh wow, they just don't know, America's just going to come in there and want to wipe them out. This is their attitude. This is how they think. They think that so much they have deceived themselves. Who shall bring me down to the ground? Go ahead.
Though thou exalt thyself,
though they exalt themselves. Look at that. They put themselves over everything. You ever see Lindsey Graham talking about, yeah, we're going to destroy them? This is some fat old white dude, you understand, that has never fought a day in his life, but that pride in his heart, that strength of his skin, it has him thinking, who shall bring me down to the ground? Read that again. And that's what he does. He exalts himself as the eagle. He puts himself above everybody. Go ahead.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
What does that mean? Though thou set thy nest among the stars. What does that mean? Above us. Yeah. He set himself above us. Listen, they look down on us. They look down on us. You understand? We the children of Israel. We are who this book is speaking about. Read that again. Read that again. No. From right.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
They set thy nest among us. Yeah, it's twofold, but we're going to use that one we're using right there. That's the one we want to use right there. You understand? We know about that space station, set their nest among the stars. You understand? They got to be high. Their habitation has to be above everyone. You understand? Go ahead.
Will I bring thee down?
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Yes, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. The Most High is going to bring them down. You understand? Go ahead.
If these come to thee,
go ahead.
If thy night,
read on.
How art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Hey, listen, would they not have stolen until they had enough? Think about this, right? They come into America and they took everything from the natives of America or of this land, right? So much so that they put them on reservations. No running water, no electricity, no heat in the wintertime. If you come into a nation and steal something, wouldn't you steal and leave something? Wouldn't you leave a little something? Go ahead.
And make it worse, and then they celebrate every year and got us doing the same thing against our own family.
Stop. Check this out. They got I want to say Boston, right? I want to say Boston. One of the governors in Boston still have a native tribe bringing them a deer. I believe it's on Thanksgiving or Christmas. They have to go out and catch a deer. Listen, if you stole everything from a person, wouldn't you leave something? Wouldn't you leave their pride? Wouldn't you leave their dignity? But you still got them going out catching a deer, not a domestic, but a wild deer. And they got to come to the governor's mansion and present it to you. How horrible can a people be? This is the beast that we're under. This is the reason why this nation is about to be destroyed. Babylon is falling. America is falling. Hey, listen, if you can't tell right now, we destroyed as a people. If you can't see this right now, I mean, think about what's going on, right? You got 2 million of us in prison, over 2 million of us in prison, right? They turning us into LGBTQs, right? They're tearing our houses apart, the household apart. They have our women believing that they should be leading us. Our oppressors women don't want to be the leaders of their men, but they have mixed us up so much so that our women want to lead us. All of these Hispanics on the border imprisoned in concentration camps, you understand? In cages, babies, children. Think about this, right? If the Russians was to take those Ukrainian babies and put them in cages, the world would be in an uproar. Listen, you just had the people from South Africa go to the International Court of Justice with charges against Israel. Did they bring charges against America for having them babies in cages on the border? 2 million of us in prison, turning our men into homosexuals. You understand? With the natives in concentration camps. You understand? Which they call them what? They call them? What the Native Americans live in. Reservation. Those are concentration camps. You understand what I'm saying? And they still violating their rights to this day.
I just read in the paper that you got some counties in Maryland that's trying to decide if they're going to get involved. There's a big split, but they're trying to decide if they're going to get involved with deportation. Like, it's a big, like cities are all coming together. States coming together.
Right.
And they get like local law enforcement involved, and people are trying to, like, that's the big fight.
Right. Right. Think about it, right? Who's the highest number of illegal immigrants in this country today?
Chinese. Afghanistan.
We would think the East Indians, the Chinese, the Asians, the Europeans, the oppressor. How did they get here? We think because they've been here so long, right? But those are immigrants. Those are illegal immigrants. They didn't come here with papers, and they came here and stole. See, we think the East Indians, because we see those numbers on TV, we see those numbers in books, but the oppressor doesn't count himself as an illegal immigrant, which he is. He came here illegally. He stole land illegally. He unalived people illegally. You know what? Check this out. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. What is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer Alazar. Right, right.
Lock Israel. These are the security announcements. Go to the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to speak to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, remind Akim. Oh, Salat. We got the Feast of Dedication. That's December 25th. Khan. Hanukkah. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK event and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headbands, or scarf. And with that, we're going to get one courteous salute to the teacher, Min Israel, Amadiyam. This means to stand. Amadiyam Shabbat, Amadiyam, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Rakatah, Yajimata, class dismissed.